Steph is not a generational talent.
How? That makes no sense. Like, this is Gilbert. What are you talking about? What's goody? It's your host, Jay Rose. As always, I seen this clip of Gilbert Arenas talking about how Steph Curry is not a generational talent. So I got to see the rest of this segment. Let's get into it.
Pat Riley's never won without
a megastar, top 75.
What we call it, a generational type of talent. It's not like when you talk about when you talk about generational people, he's had three of them. Right, his legacy, you can be the next Pat Riley. Well, hold on, wait, relax.
As a coach or as a GM? Because as a coach, he had Magic and Kareem. And then Pat Riley also coached those Knicks teams. I don't think there was anyone generational there. And then Pat Riley was the coach when D-Wade and Shaq went on that run. And then he was the GM by the time LeBron got there. So who's the three generational talents he's talking about? Because I wouldn't count, although D-Wade was on a generational run, I wouldn't count him as a generational talent. You could have Magic and Kareem and Shaq at that point in his career. Do you still want to give him that? I don't know.
He's had three generational talents. That's all his championships are under. Magic and Kareem.
So, yep.
James Worthy,
James Worthy wasn't
but did he just call James Worthy a generational talent? Let's be so serious.
Generational talent, but I'm just saying.
North Carolina's fine.
No, what I'm saying is that Magic and Kareem, you had both of them winning championships, and then you went to try to do something else, and it didn't work. And then you had Dwayne Wade, then you got Shaquille O'Neal.
Okay, the way he said Shaquille O'Neal makes me believe that that's where he's going with that. Honestly, that's a terrible take if that's your stance, because Shaq was not even the best player on that team. Like, not even close. There was a sizable gap between how good Dwayne Wade was and how good Shaq was. So if Shaq is your generational player in this scenario, I understand who Shaquille O'Neal is as a whole, but Shaquille O'Neal on the Miami Heat in 2005, 2006, he was not that good. He wasn't. So let's keep it a bean. Let's keep it a bean, Gil.
But you got LeBron James, right? So when you're talking about the generational, those different makers, that's who your championships have been built off of. You never won a championships with teams or wasn't it? So Jimmy is basically...
Okay, so if you're going to count LeBron for Pat Riley, are we also going to count Jimmy Butler? Because Pat Riley was the GM by the time LeBron was there. Spo was the coach. So are we going to count these Jimmy Butler teams? Because this ain't no generational talent-led team. This is a full squad that's been to the finals twice. And in a league where only the Celtics have gone to the finals twice since 2020. 2019, whatever. So.
The only player that's gotten you
close to it.
But to be real, how many teams have won without generational talent?
Steph is not a generational talent.
How? That makes no sense. Like, this is Gilbert. What are you talking about, bro?
Detroit.
Steph Curry.
Steph is not a generational.
Steph not a generational.
You know what a generational... Wemby is a generational person.
That makes no sense. You don't know what Wembanyama is going to do. The same way where back in 2018... a lot of people were on Zion Williamson. Yo, Zion's going to come in, do this, do that. He's going to be the Charles Barkley with speed and hops and this and that. And he came in and he was underwhelming. It's very possible the same can happen to Wemby. I'm not saying it's going to happen. But how do you look at somebody who has 2 MVPs? One of them is unanimous, the only unanimous MVP in NBA history. 4 rings. And you're going to say he's not a generational talent. He literally defined the generation. All the kids these days want to shoot like Steph Curry. All y'all analysts be complaining about how many threes get shot. That's because of Steph Curry. And if you look at all the other good three-point shooters, never able to attain nearly as much success as he has. And you can't say nothing about the KD Warriors because he won before and after. So, I mean, that's a bad take. That's objectively a bad take.
That is a generational talent.
Steph became
a great... generational means you can't mimic it. You can't mimic... You can't mimic
that number one.
You can't mimic Steph Curry. You can't do it. He's the only other small guard besides Isaiah Thomas to win a championship. How is that not generational? He's the only other guard to get 50-40-90 splits shooting the volume that he shoots. He's the only other guard to make all these goddamn threes. He broke his 3-point record like 3-4 times. That's not generational. He's the only person to beat LeBron that many times. I'm just saying, bro. So your definition is Magic Johnson is generational. It can't be repeated. But I'm not gonna lie to you. LeBron repeated it. So now what? And if I'm not saying he repeated it down to the wire, down to the T. But if this is your criteria, is Michael Jordan generational? I'm not saying Kobe copied him 1 for 1, but it's repeatable clearly. So is Kobe and MJ generational or not?
Kareem
And what
Abdul-Jabbar.
you can't mimic fucking LeBron James. Those you can't mimic Wemby. Those are generational.
I agree.
It only comes once every. Right,
So
there's only 5 or
generational-
6.
No, you have to turn into a generational talent. You have to turn into a generational player throughout your career. You don't start off as a generational talent. Shaq is a generational talent because of the dominance he had. LeBron is a generational talent because of the dominance he had. Steph, MJ, Kobe, all of those guys are generational talents. What you're talking about is freaks of nature. Wemby is a freak of nature. He's 7 foot whatever, not supposed to be moving like that. Giannis is a freak of nature. Shaq is a freak of nature. Bron is a freak of nature.
Physical
traits.
Okay.
It's not
Physical
based on
traits.
physical
It's
traits. It's based
generational.
on how you play basketball.
Like somebody like Giannis
Giannis-
is tweaking. Right? Like Jokic is not a generational talent.
No.
He's just
How?
a great basketball player.
Yeah.
Curry was
That's
a
a
great
terrible
basketball player.
Facts, bro.
You know what I mean? It's different. Like generational is something that's once every 20.
Once every.
Steph Curry is a once ever though. Fuck once every 20 years. Once ever. Nobody's ever done the stuff that Steph Curry has done. And you're saying he's not generational. That makes zero sense.
Like Tim Duncan,
Shaq was generational.
Like Tim Duncan was Mr. Fundamental. Fundamental is what took him over the top. He was a great basketball player.
Can we ask the chat?
Freak of nature. How would they know?
Yeah.
Same way they don't know
The chat
everything.
everything. It's called freak of natures. When the freak of nature, like he's had the freak of natures.
So you wouldn't say Steph shooting
Is not a
makes
freak of
it-
nature?
Makes him a freak
It's
of
called
nature?
hard working.
Absolutely.
Hard.
Do you define this generation? We look back at the 2010s and we look at Bron and Curry. Simple as that. We look at Bron and Curry. The past decade, we look at Kobe, Shaq, and Tim Duncan. Simple. Before that, we look at MJ, we look at Hakeem. Simple. I'm not entirely sure where this argument is coming from. Freaks of nature equal generational talent, and if you don't have those physical attributes, you cannot be one. That makes no sense. I'm sorry.
Shooting is freak of nature.
Absolutely.
He is not a freak of nature. Like when we say freak of nature, Bo Jackson, what is he?
Okay.
Okay.
That's okay.
Right? Okay. Deion Sanders, is Jerry Rice a generational talent?
No.
No.
Generational hands.
Nah.
I mean, Steph play golf.
No.
I mean,
He just became.
I mean, he'll play basketball and then go. I mean, he'll play basketball and then go win a golf tournament.
That's what I said. Like he just that he's a hard worker. That's the difference between like a Michael Jordan. They're generational. They're just their engines itself is what makes them there.
Would you say Kobe was a generational
No.
talent?
He wasn't.
Nope.
What? And that makes no sense. You know why that makes no sense? Because Kobe Bryant is a mega athlete. Do y'all know what Kobe Bryant dunk highlights look like? And if your definition is freak of nature, what? Do you understand the shit that Kobe was doing? Gil, you're lying. Why are you lying? Bro just did this for clicks, because there's no way.
Hard work.
Well, he was a prophet. I mean,
Did that
like
hard
a
work
prodigy.
turn him
He was
into a
prodigy.
generational talent?
Mike Tyson. You talking about like those guys like Mike Tyson, Ali. Those are Serena Williams, not Venus Williams.
Yeah,
And Kobe's
Serena
not there?
It's
generational.
generational.
She came
And Kobe's
in
not there.
Tiger Woods.
as a game
And Steph is
changer.
not there.
Venus still a dog though.
No, for sure.
Like that's what I said. Right now we're talking about what? Wemby. Shit, you can.
But why are we talking about Wemby? Like, I really don't understand. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. Like, I understand the Wemby hype, and I understand he has generational potential, but as of right now, how are we going to call him generational after one season? He ain't even played any generation yet.
So
He's close.
We asked the chat, is Steph Curry generational?
Hell yeah, he is.
71% said yes, Gil. This is your chat for your show.
Put it like this: then they can't be Steph Curry.
No,
they
you
would agree
can't be
with you.
Steph Curry.
Right? What I'm saying is, then you can't tell your kids you can be the next Steph Curry.
What?
You can't be the next generational player.
You can't.
Like
You
nobody,
can't say you're gonna be the next
think about
Wemby,
it.
though.
Nobody could do what Michael Jordan did. We can analyze it, but we can't go out there and mimic it. Our fadeaway wouldn't look like his fadeaway. The move.
Yo! I'm catching you contradict yourself in real time. You can't tell your kids to go be Michael Jordan. Then who the fuck is this guy? Who the hell is this guy? Who is this? You can't tell your kids to go be MJ. Who the fuck is this? He was damn close. Damn close. I'm not gonna lie, bro. That is a direct contradiction. A direct contradiction. You're gonna say Kobe's not a generational talent, and then in the same video say MJ is. What the hell? Gilbert Arenas. What the hell?
It's like the difference. You be like, he's different.
Yeah, generational.
He's different.
Like that's what I said. Like even someone like Tom Brady, he wasn't generational. His was all work.
Michael Vick was generational.
And then the 20 years after him came
Lamar Jackson
and Cam Newton.
RG.
So you're gonna tell me pretty much we're gonna put this on football for a minute. You're gonna tell me that Lamar Jackson is generational, and by your own standard, Patrick Mahomes would not be, more or less. Tom Brady is not. Aaron Rodgers is not. But Lamar Jackson is. That's bullshit. That's very bullshit. I'm sorry. I can't agree with that. I cannot agree with that. That makes no sense. You're generational because of the physical attributes given to you at birth. And if you work hard enough and you become a super dominant player through your work ethic and your skill, you cannot be considered generational because you're not 7 foot tall and you cannot dunk over 12 people. That, like, literally makes no sense. And then the Michael Jordan dick suck on top of that to make sure that he does not fit in this list. He had to make sure that MJ was generational, even though quite literally does not fit his definition. And quite literally is only as good as he is because of his hard work. You can't make a definition. I think your definition is dog shit, by the way. I just want y'all to understand. MJ is generational. Kobe is generational. Steph is generational. I would call Luka generational. Jokic generational. These are all players that I'm not gonna push it yet for some of these guys because, you know, we still got years ahead of us. We don't know what's gonna happen yet. But I think a lot of these guys do need to be considered generational. A lot of the names that they brought up, obviously there's certain guys who are good in an era but didn't really define it. I don't think Yao Ming is close to being a fucking generational talent. I think when you say that, like, generational talent, and I think you need to have the dominance as well for me to call you generational. That would be my definition. The talent as in, here's what your numbers are, here's what you're doing, here's your production, and what your career panned out to be. So I can understand the Yao Ming. He had the talent, but his career did not pan out. I would understand if you said a T-Mac. He had the talent. His career did not pan out. Guys like Steph Curry clearly have the talent. Clearly career panned out. So how are you not going to call him generational? Kobe had the talent. Clearly panned out. And he's a freak of nature. Like you're saying, he was just 6'6" and not 6'10". So it is what it is. Gilbert Arenas constantly has takes I disagree with, so we're probably going to do a lot more of these reaction videos, and I'm going to catch you on the next one, bro.